Hi. So hopefully in the previous videos, you guys have already covered how to create a Flutter app and what a class means and how this my app class came to be, and also how to go through the theming and set a different theme for like the light mode and the dark mode, and the understanding of what material 3 is and like what happens when it's not there, right? And hopefully you've also covered how widgets work in Flutter, and you've added these to go through. So now we're going to be picking up from here, and I'm going to teach you how to structure your Flutter projects, because as much as like let's say I only wanted to work in this one file. The bigger the app gets, the more complicated the code gets. And in case there is some sort of change I need to make in my huge app, it becomes extremely difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to modularize this, right? So this home, whatever we're rendering here, this scaffold widget, we're going to be taking this and putting it in a separate file called homescreen.dart. So what you can do is go into your live folder, right click on it, and you'll have an option to create a new file or a new folder. And here you can create a new folder and name it screens, right? So I've already done that here, and under screens, right click on it, click on new file. So you get this option. All you have to do is type out homescreen.dart, right? So I've already done that. So now that you have a homestream.dart file, we'll go to this and we'll follow the same procedure we did for the first one, right? So in any file that's using a widget, we'll need to start by importing the flutter slash material.dart, right? So that's what we did here, and this is what we need to do here as well. So next, I'm going to define my class, and whenever you're defining classes for screens or widgets, it would be better if you just name them after what the file is called, or a convenient name, an understandable name, so that later on this will be helpful, right? So we're going to say extend stateless widget, and like we covered before, here we're gonna put the build method, and also we're gonna have the line that has the constructor in it. So key, and we're gonna remove this. And here we're gonna have a return statement, right? So what do we return here? So like I said, we're gonna take this code, right? And we're just gonna copy it and paste it here. Now, because this is the end of the function, we need to end it with a semicolon, right? Like this is the return of the function, so this would be one line. So we need to end it with a semicolon. Now that we have this, right, uh, we have our home screen widget ready. But how do we use our home screen widget here, right? Like as you can see here, right now, there's nothing, and if we save the file, the app won't reload and crash because the file is not complete, right? So to use this homescreen.dart file that we've created, what we're going to do is similar to this import statement, which is importing from package Flutter. We are going to import our own home screen widget. So type import, click enter. Now start typing for screens, right? So here you should get two options. Select the package demo app screens, and now you can see everything inside the screens folder, and we have our home screen.dart. Just click that, right? Now you can go here and start typing whatever you name the class right here, right? So just go and type home screen, and this is our home screen.dart file. So put a comma here just for formatting and save. And now if we reload the app, we can see that the app is reloaded and nothing is broken. Everything is still the same, which means that we've successfully taken the code that we had here, converted it into a screen widget, right? And put it in a separate file. And now we are calling that file. So any change I make in this file, suppose let's say I change this from demo app to click me, right? So if I do that and I restart, and let's say I say hello, right? And restart the app, it's changing, right? Uh, okay, so that's what. Okay, so I thought I was changing the button, so I'm changing the app bar. Let's just put this back to demo app, but you can see that it's changing every time I save it, right? So that's how it's going to work. And now that we have modularized this, let's begin with rendering what we've seen earlier in our project, the capstone project, which is getting this list of locations, right? So to get this kind of list, first we need to start off by creating two more folders. And here, if I right click and create new folder and name it data, which I've already done here. So you'll have a data folder. Now what you can do is head to the GitHub. This is my GitHub. So this is github.com/. I'll put the link in the description. And now here there is a file inside the data folder just like ours. And I'll need you to copy this code because this contains the list of all the locations. And this isn't really Dart, a Dart lesson because like here all we've done is listed out all the topics. But if you do copy this code as such from here, just copy it and go back to Visual Studio Code. And here, uh, now I have an empty file, right? So let me just paste this. Yeah? And as soon as I paste this, initially, you should see these kind of errors, right? So don't worry if you have these kind of errors. And firstly, before starting, just remove this import statement, right? So now you have this list here, and now we have a list of something that looks like location. So this looks familiar to this, right? So this is scaffold, and inside that we have name, and we've given that something, and we have image URL and map URL. So what are we doing exactly? So the location is also a class, right? So if you can see here, we have a location, right? And it has a background image, it has a name, and when I click on it, it also takes me to Google Maps, right? So you need a URL for the Google Map, so that once you click on it, it can take you to that link, right? So we can envision this location as an entity, right? And we know that entities are represented by location class, right? So let's build our class location and give it uh, its attributes, right? So there's one more thing that you need to know in Flutter, which is a keyword, uh, right? So there are different types of keywords for defining a variable, like before defining a variable. So there's a const keyword, which is const, and this is used to define constants which need to be defined at the time, right? So this cannot, so if I'm declaring a constant, it will be like const pi equal to 3.14, and it needs to be defined right here, right? You can't just say const int or float pi and just leave it like that. That's not possible. In case you want to have a value that you want to be assigned once and never changed again, which is kind of like a constant, but you can, you don't have to define it when you're declaring it, right? So like here, I had to write pi equal to 3.14, right? So what will happen with a different keyword is that it will be assigned later when I pass it in. So for that, we use the keyword called final. So here we're going to say final string name. This is going to be our first attribute. And then we're going to have final string image URL. Let me just get that right. Yeah. And then we have our final string map URL. So this is our location class, and these three are our location attributes, right? But now we need to give this a constructor which will assign these values to their respective attributes, right? So when we call something like this, and here we give name equal name colon and mess1, it's going to assign mess1 to this name, and then this gibberish to image URL, and similarly for the map URL. So that location class object will have these three values, and the next location class object will have these three values, and so on, right? So here we're just going to say this dot name, and because we need every location to have a name, we're going to add the keyword called require, and we're going to do this for the other two as well, right? So this dot map URL and end it with some. So now that we have this, okay, it's just a VS Code edit. But now that we have that, we can just put this const keyword on the side because the constructor itself is always constant, right? So we're never changing what is there inside this constructor. So this can be constant. And now we'll just save this location class and go back here, and like I've done before. So this is in the folder called models, right? So models, and then this has location. So what we're going to do is we're going to import the way we imported here, right? So there's also a trick for this, and that is if you just start typing the name of the class. So let's say I type location, right? So let's just backspace and I start typing location. So here you can see that I get a suggestion to auto import the class. And if I just click enter on it, it will directly import the location.dart file, which is inside my models folder. And now all the errors will be gone. So these blue squiggly lines are because I've put this as a variable list. So I just change it to const because the list is going to remain the same for now. It's like this. But later on, we're going to add the functionality to add more locations into the list. So we're just going to leave it at var there. You can fix this by adding const beside each of them. And usually, like every time you see these blue squiggly lines in Flutter, it means that they can be fixed by adding the const keyword, and you should, because this helps in the efficiency of the app. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're not going to be doing that. So now we have our location list, and everything, all the errors are fixed. And now you can move on to the next video where we'll be rendering this list. Instead of this button, we're going to be rendering the list, and we're going to be using a new widget for that, and that will be covered in the next video. Again, the link to the repository for the GitHub, the GitHub repository for the content covered so far is going to be in the description. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.